Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com. Bringing you a Blue Winged Olive Cripple today. This is a dry fly pattern. It's actually meant to fish like in the film, on the top but in the film. And it's a good all-around searching pattern. It's a Blue Winged Olive. So in my area, they're around a good part of the year. So almost all year long actually. When the weather conditions are right, you'll find them. But anyways, you can tie this. I'm going to tie it in a 16 in the video. Definitely tie it smaller for the olives. But the 16 actually will work good too. So experiment. Use different colors of the turkey biot quills. I've been using them a lot in my videos lately. They just look great. So that's why I've been using them. Trying to get back into using some of the products that we carry. And that's one of them that I need to make more use of. But it comes in a variety of different colors, and it'll match different hatches to match whatever's in your area. Change the, if you want to change the color of it, change the wing too to match the wings of whatever fly you're trying to imitate. So experiment, have fun. That's what it's all about. Finding what works in your area and using the materials you have. You might not have the polypropylene yarn, use Antron. Or use EP fibers. Whatever you have to work, that'll do the job. So have fun tying, guys. Here you're going to see a picture of the fly, then the material list to tie it. Okay, here you see the Blue Winged Olive Cripple in the vise. Really cool looking fly. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Daiichi 1170. This is a dry fly hook. Thin wire, so it'll float well. And for thread, I'm using some Semperfli Nano Silk. This is 12-aught black. Use brown, olive, whatever color you want here. Very little of it shows, so I'm not worried about it, and I'm using black. Start it on there and wrap it back towards the bend of the hook where we're going to put on the tail. For a tail, I'm using some cocktail yarn fibers. This is medium Pardo. Use whatever cocktail yarn you have. And I'm just going to tear off about 8 or so fibers here, and I'm going to set them on top of the hook. Set them just over the side just a little bit so they roll up on top. And then wrap them back towards the bend. Now that tail is really long. So I'm just going to pull on it, shorten it up to the length I want, which is about right there. I like that length. And then I'm going to wrap it back to the bend and cover it down on the hook shank. And then we'll just trim off the butt sections. Next thing I'm going to use is some Semperfli. This is micro glint tinsel. And it's golden olive, as you can see there. And I'm taking 2 strands of it, and I'm just going to lay them on top. I'm going to side by side those 2 strands, and I'm going to tie that back over the tail. So it's going to be on top of the tail. It's just going to give a little bit of flash. And then I'm going to cut it to half the length of the tail. And just hit it around there, and those 2 strands will separate into about 8 strands. And set the rest of it aside for your next one. Next thing I'm going to put on is my turkey biot quills. This one's an olive one. I'm going to strip 1 fiber off of it. You've been seeing me tie a lot with these lately. They just make a great body, so I'm going to use some more of them. And I'm just going to tie that on the side here and wrap it back to the bend of the hook. Now you can, if you want, you can use some super glue here. I'm not going to use any super glue on this one, but I oftentimes do use super glue. And then we're just going to wrap that forward. And you want the little fin that sticks up, you want it to be on the back side as you wrap it forward, so you're not covering it up with your next wrap, and it's going to give you that nice little segmented body there. So we're just going to wrap that forward up towards the eye. When we get it up here behind the eye, I'm going to tie it off, make about 3 wraps. That secures it in place there. Then we're going to trim it off. And I'm going to clean it up and go over the rest of what I cut off there. And then I'm going to come back about 1/3 of the way back the hook. And I'm going to use some brown olive dubbing. And I'm going to go very, very, very sparse on this. And I mean extremely sparse. Just enough to know that I'm putting some on there. And I'm going to make a little tiny ball of dubbing right here, about a third of the way back. And now we're going to put the wing on this. For our wing, I'm using some polypropylene yarn. This is light gray color. It's like Antron. You can use Antron if you want. I've also used EP fibers on this to do like a March Brown. I use my March Brown color. And we're just going to tie that on top of the hook and wrap it up towards the eye. I want to leave just a little bit of space like that so I can wrap my, tie my knot off. Okay, so now we have this big long piece hanging back over that dubbing ball. I'm going to cut it just behind that dubbing ball. And this is going to be the wing case that it pops out of there, the little shuck. And there we have our wing out the front, the crippled part. Now I'm going to put some hackle so this thing floats well. And this is just some medium done dry fly hackle. We're going to tie it on. I like to tie things on the side. You can tie it on the top or whatever. Get it tied on there, and I'm going to make 4 or 5 nice side-by-side touching wraps here. Once I get those 5 wraps on there, then I'm just going to tie it off right there behind my wing. Then I'm going to pull that wing, both wings out of the way, and get in front of it right behind that eye. Now, this feather is a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim it off now. If your feather's shorter, I sometimes trim it off after I whip finish. So now we got it all done here. We're just going to hit it with a whip finish and we are done. So I like to get, you know, a nice 4 or 5 turn whip finish. Sometimes I'll put 2 little ones on there. There we go. And then we're going to cut this wing off for the cripple. So just pinch it. I want to go just a little bit further than my hackle. And I'm going to cut it at an angle. I like to trim it just to give it like that wing shape. Trim off the front just a little bit more. And there you go. It's got a nice profile to it. And there's your cripple. It'll ride kind of like that in the water column. A little bit higher in the front, lower in the back like that. And you'll be good. Alright guys, I hope you like that tie. It maybe looks a little bit difficult, but it's really not that difficult. You do a couple of them, get the knack for it, get it down. You can tie them pretty easily and pretty quickly. So have fun, experiment, and if you need any of the materials, like always, please head over to our website, holsingersflyshop.com. And if you would want me to tie any of these for you, you can always reach out to me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com, and I can tie some up as a special order. So thanks for watching, guys. Until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Sean Holsinger.